I'm still at a bit of a shock thinking
Mhm.
about some of the news that has come across the pipe. A great example about this, and this is kind of an important story, one that a lot of people have been discounting, is the leaks that we saw coming out of the Pentagon. One of the things reflected
Yeah.
in the leaks of the Pentagon is the fact that Fattah el-Sisi in Egypt is actually, or did, make a deal with Russia and basically promised Russia 40,000 missiles. 40,000 missiles. And by the way, this isn't something that should surprise anybody. I mean, I'm looking at this and understanding what the geopolitical infrastructure should look like based on
Yeah.
what the Bible tells us. I'm
Yeah.
not surprised by this. Now, a lot of
No.
people look at this and go, well, I don't see Egypt as being part of the alliance that we read about in Ezekiel 38. So why is Russia and Egypt interacting have anything to do with it? Well, I can tell you why. First of all, Egypt is an American ally, has been an American ally for a very, 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 very long time. And whether or
Yeah.
not anybody wants to admit it, Egypt is perhaps one of the most stable nations in the Middle East, even with everything that's happened in Shawara Tahrir and all of the things that happen with Islamic Brotherhood, it still stands as one of the more stable nations for lots of different reasons. I don't have to get into all the different reasons, but what's perhaps more significant is their sovereign ability, their sovereign power. Egypt has always asserted itself as a sovereign nation that isn't going to be told what to do, yet Egypt has decided to make a deal with Russia, knowing full well that Russia is beginning to be the big player in the Middle East, and Egypt is beginning to treat Russia the same way they used to treat the United States of America. They
right.
are beginning to give Russia the prominence that we know Russia has to have when
Yeah.
Ezekiel 38 takes place, and that's why this is so important.
I'm with you. It's 100% over the target, man. And so, yeah, these leaks, what it did do was it did damage our relationship with Egypt, South Korea, and Israel. And we've already seen that starting to take shape. Bibi's been ahead of the entire time he's been ahead of all of this, the head of the curve, so to speak. And so, I mean, he's already called Biden on his actions. He already knows that they're involved in all of this uprising stuff. They already know that we're meddling with their politics. And then you turn around and you watch. I don't know if you saw the leak that came out yesterday that said Iran was actually talking about taking a multifaceted approach into attacking Israel. They were going to come at them from different fronts, which I found really interesting. We already know they're in Syria. So yeah, this is, if people are not prepared today, they need to be by the time they go to bed tonight, they need to start taking actions to prepare themselves and their family for what is coming, because when this thing goes off, it's going to go like crazy hot, and everybody, it's going to be the fog of war. People are going to be trying to figure out what to do. You're going to see gasoline lines to get gasoline are going to be backed up for miles, because our strategic petroleum reserve is down to levels that it was when we first started it, and people are going to be backing up. I mean, the military is going to take priority, and so people are going to be backed up in lines, just like in Carter in the 70s, to try and get gasoline for the cars because they can't drive anywhere because they're out of gas.
Keep in mind the picture that you're drawing, as sort of gloom as it might seem in its inception, really is actually a lightweight picture compared to what we actually might see happening.